Hey folks, Mechalina here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have a Playmaker and Unity basic tutorial. We're looking at how to make a super simple, flexible dialogue system that can take in a whole bunch of text, display the right person or image asset character who is talking, and their perspective dialogue box above their head. Make it a super flexible system, super easy to use, and today we're going to be breaking it down step by step. We're starting off with how to display the text.
Let's first dive into how we use the Text Mesh Pro feature. I'm going to first set up a dialog box onto my canvas. What I have on the screen right now, I just started by creating a canvas and throwing a fun background image on that canvas, and that making our canvas relate to our camera with a screen space camera, with the render camera being the main camera. So whatever the canvas is, that's what the camera will also be there. All right, let's first make that text box element. So within Canvas, I am going to right click UI, and we are first going to add an image there, and this will be our text box image. And then within this, I'm gonna get started with adding our Text Mesh Pro here. And so I'll write here, placeholder text. And within Text Mesh Pro here, we have a lot of different settings we can do to mess with this. So you're able to change the font and bring in your own font files within this. So let me pull out a font that I actually want to use. So I brought in some Open Sans fonts, and I'll do that there. You can also change the size, change the color. So I'll pull this color here, and we'll first do some hard-coded text. So I will have my dialog box say dialogue, and then the actual text that isn't hard-coded and is flexible and will change each time. All right, let's start actually placing this and making this look a little bit better now. So going back to here, I brought in my own sprite or my own image to give a nice little box shape. So I'm just dragging that over to image there, and then setting the native size, and I will just be moving this and placing this text box on the top right here. Great. And you can go over here to the rectangular transform to just mess with some of that stuff, and take a look at the game view. Right now that is definitely too big. Let's see, 700 looks pretty good there. 500, and I probably want to pull this a little down, something like that. All right, and then let's handle now this hard-coded text. So this will resize. I'm gonna say dialogue, and honestly, that looks good to me. All right, and then now let's start the next thing, the flexible text. So I'm just gonna go ahead and duplicate this, and with this new one, I'm gonna just pull it down there, and this one will be the actual dialogue, and this will just be the header. And then in the dialogue, because the dialogue will be flexible, we don't know what size that's going to be, I'm going to stretch this out here. And so let me just say, please, cool. And I don't want that one bold, so I'll do just an Open Sans regular for this particular text. And we'll have it in the middle and right align. Looks great. All right, let's create an FSM that is going to send and set up our placeholder dialog text here. So while this is still highlighted, we can right click to add FSM, and we can call this show the dialog FSM. All right, and quite simply, the very first thing to use and show text, we have that within our actions menu here. And if you go down to down here, Text Mesh Pro, you go to UGUI, the user interface basic stuff here, and then we have a whole boatload of different things. I just accidentally added that one, so let me delete it. And to simply set the text, you go to Set Text Mesh Pro UGUI text. So this is the one we want to add. And notice that you can do other things with it, fonts, visual, aesthetic properties, etc. So we're going to do Set Text Mesh Pro text. And we just want to test this out. So I'll just say this is the text that we are setting. Great. And then sure, we can just run this every frame, for example, and let's run this. So when we press play, this text should now update with what we set it as down here. And there you go. There is the text showing right down there. All right, now let's stop running that. The next thing we want to do is make that text now scrolly. It's super easy if you can add this as an action from the ecosystem to do that scrolly text. To add things from the Playmaker ecosystem, if you don't already have it, you can go to Playmaker, Add-ons, Ecosystem, and we go to the ecosystem browser. I call it scrolling text, but in the ecosystem, it's called Typewriter. So if you search Typewriter here, you'll get this string typewriter action, and you can download it and import that into your project. I've already done this. So let's use it out. So we have this set text. Let's add that other action and pull that in. So I'm going to type up here, let's see, string typewriter. Let's just pull that in right away and see what exactly does it want. And so the string typewriter wants a base string, it has a result string, and then it has some things to do the timing, adding sound, like little bloop, 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 bloops to it. Pretty cool stuff. And then after all of that, we then want to set whatever the string typewriter is going to be doing. So actually going to flip these two. We want to set the text after we've applied the string typewriting feature. And so I will actually move this up here to our base string and then result string. Let's do this with variables to make this reusable, and so we can insert different variables. So I'm going to first do a variable of a string, and then this could be the dialog message. And notice it wanted another one within the typewriter, the result string, so we can say the dialog message result for that action. So we have the two strings there. So, and for the dialog message, let's just copy and paste that previous message we wanted to show. So this is the text that we're setting. Great. So let's turn this into a variable. So again, our base string was that what we just made, dialog message. Result string is the other one we just made, dialog message result. And we can leave these default timing features. That sounds great. And we can have add a finish event to this as well. So finished. I'll add a placeholder state there to pull it over to. Finish event is finished. Great. And what we want to set is we want to set the result string. So let's turn this into the dialog message result string. And now our text should become scrolly text. Let's test it out. I'm going to press play up here. And you can look here. We now have that awesome scrolly text action. And you can mess with those timings to get it to scroll faster, slower, whatever. Because we're building this for a dialogue system, we want this to be really flexible, and we want this to be able to pull out of some sort of like array, like an array of strings. So you can just set up your array with all your lines of dialogue and then pull those individual lines of dialogue. So let's start getting that set up now. I'm going to stop running this FSM here, and let's get that all set up with the array. Ignore the bird. For this example, I'm just gonna set up a quick array within the variables here. And then the next video, we can go in and do something like setting up an array list of sorts. So this will be an array of strings. And the name of the array can be dialog array. And let's see, it pulls, maybe it's 2 dialogues long, and we can say, hello, this is the first dialogue message. Hi there, this is the second dialogue message. Great. I spelled that wrong, but meh, whatever. Let's go back into here and let's add something to start dealing and retrieving that array even beforehand. Let me name this state. So this is to show scrolling text. This will just be like, it's like finished, waiting. And let's add a state here. Get text from array. Fantastic. So we go over to our actions. We can go to array and we can do array get. So from array get, we can select our array. That thing, I thought I renamed this, so dialog array. Awesome. And it starts from the index of 0, so the first one in the array, and it needs to store the value somewhere. So the value we wanted to store is that dialog message. So set it up as dialog message, and great, that's all we need to do. So when that is finished getting that, it will then go and do the scroll text. So let's start this from as the start. And so it's going to first get the text from the array, then do the scrolling magic and show it, and then we're finished. So let's give this a shot. I'll press play. Hello, this is the first dialog message. Fantastic, that worked out really well. And then we can add buttons or do something to increase and repeat this FSM to go to the next part in the array. Let's just make sure that that second line is, let's say we increment it, so it goes to the next one, index of 1. And now when we play it, it's really noisy outside. When we play it, we'll now see the second message. Hi there, this is the second dialogue message. Fantastic. So that's the fundamentals of how to use TextMesh Pro and start your dialog box system. Just to do a quick overview, just to make sure you're putting in the TextMesh Pro UI object in here, and then the one that you want to change, you can put an FSM directly on that TextMesh Pro object. If it's not directly on the actual text you want to change, you just need to specify it in your actions here where it's coming from. But in this case, it knows what to set it to, because I'm saying use owner, but if it wasn't the owner, you would just specify the game object and drag whatever object you're wanting to update. So in our case, it's the dialog, not the header. Great, I hope you found this video tutorial helpful. Let me know if you have any questions or comments in the comments below.